The menu item we get asked most about at our espresso truck is a drink called the Gibraltar. So the difference between a Gibraltar and, say, a cappuccino is really just a matter of proportion. You can see here is the amount of milk that we would put into a Gibraltar, and here's the amount that we would put into a cappuccino. The Gibraltar is also called a cortado. The Gibraltar name is a Bay Area slang for a cortado. The reason or the origin of it is that it fits pretty perfectly into this glass made by a company called Libby Glassware. This model of glass is called a Gibraltar. And for whatever reason, one of the Bay Area coffee roasters started calling their drink a Gibraltar, and the name stuck. And so oftentimes in the Bay Area, you'll see instead of a cortado listed on the menu, it's called a Gibraltar. But really, the difference that we're talking about is just a matter of proportion. All of our espresso drinks start with the same double ristretto shot of espresso. So we're talking about an ounce and a quarter of liquid that comes out of that shot. And then we add a varying degree of steamed or foamed milk to it. So here is a Gibraltar. Below that would be a macchiato. Here's a cappuccino. Above that would be a latte. A lot of cafes you'll go into and you'll see the options for a 8-ounce cappuccino, a 12-ounce cappuccino, a 20-ounce cappuccino. All of those are really hard to do exactly because what we're talking about is, in the case of a cappuccino, a 4-to-1 ratio. So about 1 ounce of espresso to 4 ounces of milk, and then steamed. So you could double that, yes, but you need to leave room for, in this case, you would leave room for the espresso, but you need room for the foam to expand as well. So we serve our various milk drinks in specific size cups. Our Gibraltar is in a 4-ounce cup, so it just barely fits into that. Our cappuccino, even though it's 4 ounces of milk and an ounce of espresso, by the time you foam everything up, it fits into an 8-ounce cup pretty perfectly. Similar thing with a latte going into a 12-ounce cup. It's really only about 8 ounces or so of actual liquid before the air and the foam is incorporated. But the difference here is really you can taste the espresso a little bit more pronounced in a Gibraltar. There's a little bit less milk to cut things, so it's much closer to a shot of espresso. Whereas with the cappuccino, you're adding a little bit more milk, you're cutting it a little bit more. Personally speaking, this is where I like to start my day. I like the ratio of espresso to milk with a cappuccino. And then once you get up into the latte, you're tipping more into the milk flavors than the espresso flavors that are shining through. So sounds complicated, but a Gibraltar is really just an espresso with a little bit of steamed and foam milk. I also like to call it a mini cappuccino. All right, so let's drink some. Cappuccino, Gibraltar. Double fists.